visiting a place is totally different from
Than
living in a
living it.
place.
Mm-hmm.
I live 10 minutes from the Nile River. I live like 30, 35 minutes from the pyramids. And so people are like, oh, yeah, girl, you did it. I'm like, y'all post these travel pictures by the pyramids, but come on over to my hood where you're going to see this trash. You're going to see these stray cats. You're going to see these dogs. You're going to see all these flies. They tell you that they're going to come and turn the internet on at 3 o'clock. Inshallah, that means if it's God's will.
Yeah.
It ain't God's will for you to show up at 7 o'clock talking about I install my cable. That ain't God's will, okay? That ain't his will. So
Because
it's
God
very
is always on time.
right. We didn't have our bank account set up. It took us like 3 months to get our bank account set up. And so I set it off up in that business office. Boosie set it off up in there. I said, I come to work on time. I need my money on. Yeah. He ain't through with me yet. Nah, I'm gonna he ain't through with me yet.
Welcome to another episode of Light This and Light That, the Glow Code podcast with your host, Nicci Page. I'm a writer, a lawyer, an inspirational influencer, a keynote speaker, and a board-certified coach. I help women bring their light to life and produce quality content that vibrates on the faith frequency. This is the podcast for believers and baddies, women who are bad because they believe. The ladies in the place with style and grace. You fly girls who are living in the light and walking by faith. This is the community for around the way girls who are unashamed of the gospel. So whether it's current events, pop culture, praise reports, or personal testimony, we address it all from the angle of the light.
Hey everybody, it's Nicci Page of the Glow Code. Welcome to episode 5 of Light This and Light That, the Glow Code podcast where we talk about a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but we do it all from the angle of the light. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Mi'Esha Reynolds, creator of Be Spiritually Bold. I'm going to bring her up on the screen right now so you guys can see her beautiful face. There
Hey
she
y'all.
is. This is Mi'Esha Reynolds. So I'm going to read a little bit of her bio just so you guys have a little bit of her background, and then we're going to dive into the conversation. But first of all, welcome, Mi'Esha. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you guys. So hailing from Atlanta, Georgia, Mi'Esha is a bold, courageous, and brave young lady, an international school counselor in Cairo, Egypt, a nationally certified counselor, a licensed associate professional counselor, and creator of Be Spiritually Bold, LLC. Be Spiritually Bold manifested after God answered a prayer that had been a void for most of her life. I'm gonna let her tell you what that prayer was because it's a very, I think, inspirational and unique kind of story that I think can help some people, help a lot of people. I know it touched me, so I'm not going to read what she wrote here. I'm going to let her talk about it when we get into the conversation. But this answered prayer empowered and inspired her to help other women pray bold prayers, no matter how big or how small. She helps women utilize writing, drawing, and painting to pave their way to God so that they can live life more boldly. Using these activities is part of a technique she uses frequently in her school counseling profession called expressive arts or creative arts, which is the practice of using imagery, storytelling, dance, music, drama, poetry, writing, movement, dream work, and visual arts in an integrated way to foster human growth, development, and healing. So again, welcome, Mi'Esha. Yay! Y'all know, the devil tried it. We had some technical difficulties, but you know
Yeah.
what? Mm-mm. Can't
Over here
stop, won't
in
stop.
Egypt,
Okay.
you never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. So let's just get started. I think I've done the welcome. So now I want to talk a little bit about your background. So in your bio, I mentioned briefly that you are from Atlanta and also that you are a school counselor and kind of like the inspiration for Be Spiritually Bold. But if you could, in your own words, just tell us a little bit about Mi'Esha, about your upbringing, about your profession, and the beginnings of Be Spiritually Bold.
So I am at Mi'Esha. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. That's how we say it. So that is where I'm from. I've been in Atlanta most, like, almost all of my life. And for school, I went through high school, of course, then went to college. I have a bachelor's in psychology. And when I was in my junior year of undergraduate, I didn't know, what I wanted to do. I thought that I wanted to be a child advocacy lawyer, but then I took an intro to criminal justice, and I said, I'm not doing homework when I go home from work. Then I went to pediatrician, and then I couldn't muster the kids being sick, and I couldn't always help them. And then I went to social worker. Then I looked at their salary, and I was like, I ain't gonna be doing all that for that. So I had a career crisis, for lack of better words, and I was in the career center every week for about a couple of months because I was adamant about not taking a break after I finished my graduate program. And so with the career interest inventory, speaking with my career counselor, doing a lot of research, doing some shadowing, I landed upon school counseling. And so I applied to some school counseling programs. I only applied to two programs, UGA and Georgia State, and I actually heard from Georgia State before I heard from UGA. And so when I didn't hear from UGA, but I heard from Georgia State that I didn't get in, I was like, oh Lord, what I'm gonna do now? If this school ain't let me in, Georgia surely ain't finna let me in. But I ended up getting into UGA, and I was offered an assistantship from UGA. So that's where, God said I was supposed to go. And so I have a master's in professional counseling with a specialization in school counseling. And so my master's program started maybe 2 or 3 weeks after my undergrad program, after I went to undergrad year round. And so I really didn't have any breaks between school. Went to the University of Georgia year round, got my degree in that, and went school counseling. With my degree, I had the coursework for school counseling and for other counseling as well. But my specialization is in school counseling, but the schooling is the same. It's just a few different classes to have that specialization.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, worked for like a year, then I went back to school like a crazy person. But I went back to school, and I have an educational specialist in school counseling as well. So that's just one degree under the doctorate. So at this point, I'm done with school.
Are you sure you're not gonna push for it and get that PH to the D?
My husband keeps saying we're gonna be the first one. I said I'm good with the first 3 letters before my name. I'm okay with that. So I don't have to have a PhD, but I'm burnt. I think I'm just burnt out because I went to school straight through. I went all through elementary, middle, high school, year-round college. 2-3 weeks later, started my master's program. I'm just tired.
That's understandable.
So that's my schooling. As far as my upbringing, I was raised as I'm a mother's only child.
I know it. I can pick up what you put down right there. That's my story too. My mother's only child. Now, my daddy, that's the whole. Okay, I might have multiple brothers and sisters, but you know what I mean.
So I'm my mother's only child. So I grew up and my family is not very large, and so I have 2 cousins. So we grew up more as brothers and sisters. My mom is in the military. She just retired last month after 30 years. So she served 30 years.
Wow! Congratulations, mommy.
So she did travel a lot, but I didn't travel with her. So I'm not the traditional military brat because I stayed put in Atlanta, but my mom did travel. And so, of course, her not being physically there with me, of course, that had a lot to do with how I became more independent. I had to do a lot of things faster than my friends. So just with that experience and not having her physically there with me, I hadn't lived with my mom full time, like a full year since maybe like middle school.
Oh wow! So where was she traveling? Like far, far away, overseas?
7th grade, she was in Germany.
Wow.
She came back, and then she went to Kentucky, and then she went to Texas, then she went to Tennessee. She went, and then she went to Wisconsin, and so when she retired last month, she had finished up in Wisconsin. So she was all over.
Yeah.
So she would do the visiting. And so when I moved to Cairo, Egypt, it was really difficult for her because all these years she had been the one leaving. and this time I was leaving. So that was a
Oh,
transition for her, and me, I guess. But yeah.
so I want to talk a little bit about Be Spiritually Bold. In reading your bio, I read where you said that there was a prayer, big prayer that you prayed that God answered for you. So can you tell the people what the prayer was and how the answer came about and how it has changed and impacted your life?
So, as I said, I'm my mother's only child. My mom did get married, and so growing up, I had a father figure who's to this day I call him dad. But for my most of my well, all my life, I guess I didn't know who my biological father was, and so this is something that I had been going back and forth with. Like, do I want to find him? Do I not want to find him? Because on the one hand, I'm like, well, shoot, I've been doing this all this back without him. He don't need, being petty,
Right.
petty, petty, petty. But then the other part was just like, no, I need to know who my other half is, and this is a question that I had asked my mom and had asked my grandmother, and like my mom, she wouldn't really tell me a lot of information, or she would tell me just enough and not a lot. And so it was actually during engagement counseling. So my husband, he made us do counseling before he even popped the question. So we did pre-engagement and pre-marital counseling. He said, I gotta make sure this thing is right,
Oh, so your husband was serious.
yeah, we have some different upbringings. He's one of five kids. I'm my mother's only child. His parents been married 30 some years. My mama had it. Like, it was a bunch of stuff that, I wasn't with it.
Right.
So it was actually during pre-engagement counseling that, of course, upbringing and how do you deal with stuff as a husband and wife came up. And so my husband always wanted me to like find him just because he felt like I needed to know who he was going into our marriage. Like there were some things, some closure that I needed. And so I had tugged at it. I had did a little private investigation when I was in college. Like I knew bits and pieces of information. And so I tried to, do my own private investigation and figure out what I could by myself. But I hit dead ends, and so that left me with emotional baggage, and I just felt emotionally frustrated. But during our pre-engagement counseling, I was just like, you need to do this. And then it was maybe a few sessions in, I went into my mother's basement looking for something, rambling, being nosy, and I stumbled upon something that he had written my mom some time ago. I'm a thug,
Wow.
y'all. I'm a thug. I'm gonna keep it together, y'all. I'm a thug now from Atlanta now. But no, I had it was just different things. My grandmother, she was going through some things, and she found an Easter card that he had sent, and then maybe like a week or so later, I was downstairs and I found something that he had wrote my mom, and so it was just this little bitty things. I was just like, okay, Lord, I can't ignore it anymore. And so it was around Christmas time, well, almost Christmas time, and I had made up my mind that I'm gonna get all the information, the little bit of information that I did have. I was gonna just make a Facebook post. I had went on Facebook and liked all these different pages and like different locations that I knew that he was stationed in, because he was in the military as well. And so I had little bits of information. So I had like different pages in different states in different countries. I was like, well, somebody know this man. Somebody finna see something.
Did you know his name?
Yeah, I knew his name.
Okay.
I knew about his birthday. I knew where he was from. Like, bits and pieces or whatever.
Did he know about you?
It's a little shaky. So
Okay.
yes and no. Yes and no. Like, so I had all this information, and so I had made up my mind that after I liked all these pages on Facebook, that I was gonna make this post, and I had titled it "All I Want for Christmas." And I decided that I was gonna tell my mom. I said, "This is what I'm doing. I just want to let you know that this is gonna go on Facebook. Like, not to be shady or shy. That's still my mom.
Yeah.
Just wanted to let her know that this is what I was gonna do." And so I told her, and I told her that I was gonna put it on Facebook. And then within an hour, she called me back, and she said, "I found your dad." And I'm like, "What you mean? What did you talk about?" And so she was like, "Go on Facebook, type in this name, blah, blah, blah." And so I went on Facebook, and he has a very common name. So I go on Facebook, look at his profile picture. I'm like, you can't even see this. This is a picture of somebody shooting a basketball over there. So then I got upset because I'm like, I've wanted this information for years. And when I tell you I'm going to put it on Facebook within the hour, I found him. And
Right.
so I found him that day. It was December the 6th. And then December the 7th, we like wrote each other on Facebook. You know, if you're not each other's friend on Facebook, it goes to a separate inbox. And
Right.
so
Yeah.
he accepted my friend request, but then I had to send the message again. And so that following day, he responded to the message. And then that following day, we talked on the phone for the first time. And then the following day, I was at the fraternity test place in Atlanta, and he was at the fraternity place in his state.
Mm-hmm.
And then that following Wednesday, I got the results that 99.9% that he was my father. So
Oh,
um,
wow.
that was a prayer that I had kind of tiptoed around for a number of years, but I think it wasn't until I began, like I got intentional about it, that putting it, allowing God to lead me, putting action behind my words, that he really, basically opened a can of worms. Like the information was there the whole time. And
Mm-hmm.
my mama had the information the whole time. He was just waiting for me to put my trust in him that it was gonna work out. So yeah.
Right. Wow. It's like that is like a beautiful story, and that he was open and receptive to it. Because, I mean, I'm sure you probably knew in your mind that like this could go any kind of way. Like he might reject me. I have to be
Right,
prepared for that. He might
right.
have a whole other family that's not trying to receive me or know nothing about me. And so how did you deal with all of those kind of possibilities as you were pursuing finding him?
Well, my biggest fear actually was I'm gonna find this man and he gonna be dead or he gonna be in jail because you know things like that typically don't happen. Like us being in the like us being black, like a lot of us grow up in single parent homes. Some of
Mm-hmm.
us we don't know our daddies. Some of us the daddies ain't in the picture, like things like that. And so there was always that. All these years, he's missed all this stuff. I've missed things in his life. Like I just hope that he's alive.
Right.
And when I was going into finding him, I didn't want like I don't need nothing from you. Like I don't need no money. I don't need no back child support. All that. Like I'm Gucci over here. Like it wasn't even about that. It was just a matter of like closure for me and allowing me to start the next big piece of my life, which was getting married. So yeah, um, he was very receptive. Of course, it was 20. I'm 29, so this was in 2016. So about 6 months before I got married. Um, so he was receptive to it. Of course, there was some questions in the air, like I thought you were, I thought you weren't, because I didn't hear anything. Like a whole bunch of unanswered questions I would never get the answers to or whatever. But he was very receptive to that. And then the month to the day that we had found out that I was his child, me and my husband actually flew to his house way across the country, and we met him for the first time.
Wow.
Um, I invited him to my wedding. That was 6 months later. I gave him part of my wedding. I said, "This is what you gonna do." Not asking like, "This is what you gonna do." I need you to do this. I need you to research this. So he did and everything has been like good. Everybody has welcomed me into the family. Like nobody,
Oh,
nobody has been like, "Well, where the hell she been at? Why she
yeah.
ain't?" Don't be messy or whatever. But
People can be messy now.
yeah, but I do. I have two older sisters, so I went from being the only child to the baby child. So I'm baby girl. Um,
Oh.
yeah. So everything's been good. It's been a lot better than I guess I thought it would go. And like I said, I just wanted to put a name to a face, put a voice to a face. And when I went into it, I was like, okay, if I find him and he don't want to have nothing to do with me, that's fine. I know who he is. He knew who he knows who I am. But it's been really really good. So I'm very very blessed that this it's turned out this way.
Okay. And so, how did that experience of finding your biological father inspire you to start your baby, Be Spiritually Bold?
So so earlier that year, my pastor, Bishop Gary Hawkins Sr. in Stone Mountain, he talked about being spiritually bold, and he said that when when we have confidence, it's not that we're being arrogant and asking that God what we want. It's He wants us to come to Him boldly. He wants us to be specific about what it is that we want Him to do in our life if it's His will. And so with Him answering that big prayer for me after me putting some real work behind it, it was a lot of groundwork, it was a lot of emotional work. I just wanted to encourage other women that, we can pray prayers like, "Oh Lord, please let me get this job," but it's not until we're intentional with putting work behind our prayers to help God. He already has what He needs, but He wants to see how much work we're willing to put into it for Him to show us what He has manifested for us. And so I call them bold prayers. Um, I read a book by Mark Batterson. He talks about the drawing the circle. So he talks about bold prayers. So bold prayers versus regular prayers, like a prayer, "Lord, please let me get this job where I can make $20 more an hour," versus, "Lord, I want to get this specific job that's going to make this much money, that's going to have me off on this days," but you're also putting the work behind it. So are you sending out these resumes? Are you sending these follow-up emails? Are you like putting the work
Right.
behind it? Like, so I wanted to encourage women that not only do you need to pray prayers, you need to pray boldly and ask for the things that may seem unknown to you, may seem unreachable to you. Like, I didn't know if I was going to find my biological father, but God already knows the plan. I don't know His plan. Like, He reveals it to me each and every day, but I knew that that's something that I wanted to do, and I knew that it wasn't going to come into fruition with just me sitting around looking like this.
Right. Yeah.
So just encouraging women to pray those bold prayers, but also remembering and knowing that while I could say you need to pray these prayers, if you don't have your own personal relationship with God, how is He going to do things in your life the way that you want them to be done? And then also, how are you going to have your eyes open to see what He has for you if you don't even have your eyes open to even have a relationship with Him? So the same relationship you have with your boo thing, your sister, Pookie them, you need to have that same relationship with God. And like, I think sometimes people think that it's so complicated to have a relationship with Him, and it's not. Like, I am not no Bible whiz. I don't claim to be a Bible whiz. I can recite a few scriptures here and there, but Google is my friend. Bible verses on Bible verses on uh letting go. Bible verses on being sad. Like, Google is my friend.
Hello.
So yeah, just like, and people have to learn how to make time for it as well, because people, like I said, make it more complicated than it really is, and it's not.
Right. So before we go too far, this is the glow code. So I have to talk to you about your glow. So I'm going to ask you 4 questions, super simple, and just like a one word or one sentence answer.
Okay.
And we'll move on. It's just like I have to do the glow questions because,
Okay.
that's what we do over here. Okay. So, glow stands for gratitude, love, optimism, and wisdom. So I want to know what you're grateful for right now in this moment.
Right now, in this moment, I am grateful for my peace, just peace in all of me. Like, that's a journey that I've been on for a while. So my inner peace.
Okay. And in this moment, who or what do you love? It could be a person, it could be an abstract idea or experience. What are you loving or in love with right now?
I am loving this journey that I've been on this past year, and just growing and developing and figuring out be spiritually bold. So I'm great. I'm loving that.
Okay. And what are you optimistic about right now?
Uh, I'm optimistic about where spiritually bold is going to go in 2020. I have some things that I want to implement that I've been a little nervous about, but I have to put that be spiritually bold
Exactly.
on it. So I'm very optimistic about what 2020 holds for me with be spiritually bold.
All right. And finally, what would be your word of wisdom to other young women who are trying to be bold in their prayers, be bold in their aspirations, and things that, trying to have the courage to reach for things that might seem unrealistic, but to be bold about it?
I would just say be authentic and be true to yourself. Nobody knows you better than you. Don't feel like you have to say the perfect thing or put the words in the right way or say the right enunciation of words. So just being authentically you, being true to who you want to be, what you need to grow from, and allowing yourself to go that place, and not allowing anybody else to dictate how your life should be or how you should think or what you should say. So just being true to yourself.
Right. All right. So that was the glow questions. I got one more. I want to know, as believers, we're called to let our light shine in the world, which is, in my view, part of that is using our gifts, our God-given talents to kind of edify the kingdom, to comfort people, to show people, be kind of like a representative of the love and the goodness and the grace of God in earth. So I want to know, when do you let your light shine? When is your light shining?
I would say my light is shining when I'm at work with my babies, my children. I don't have any children of my own. We don't have any yet. We have a little cat. That's our child. But I would say that my light shines when I'm at work with the kids, because I am in Cairo, Egypt, and so the students that I work with are very, very, very privileged, and so the issues that I dealt with back in the States aren't necessarily the issues that these students face here, but me just being my authentic self, whether that be Miss Mi'Esha from Atlanta telling you to get your behind in class and get out my face or anything like that, but just being authentic and letting my light shine to show the students that I really do care about them, and I want them to be the best person that they could be. I want them to see the positivity and things that I see in the children. And so, although I may not talk about how good God is, I know that it was God who gave me that gift to be able to relate to students who are racially different from me, religiously different from me, culturally different from me, socioeconomically different from me. And so just him giving me that gift to be able to reach different type of people, big people, small, young people, old people. And so I feel that that makes my light, I like that, to think that that lets my light shine through. So being able to just reach different people.
And so living overseas, like actually packing up your stuff and moving all the way to Cairo, Egypt, what is that experience like? And what's popping in Cairo? What's going on over there?
Ain't nothing popping over here, girl, but the trash and the flies, okay? The trash and the flies. So moving here was actually a bold prayer as well. And so this is my 5th year in the profession, and this is our 2nd year here in Cairo. And so I knew that I wanted something different. I knew I wasn't going to go back to my same school for a 4th year. And so I know that I hear a lot about teachers going overseas to teach, but I'm like, it's barely enough it's barely enough counseling jobs in the States. Like, it ain't no counseling jobs overseas. And so I brought the idea to my husband. We were maybe 3-4 months newlyweds when I brought this idea up. So we newlyweds, and so I brought the idea to him, and he was like, "Yeah, let's run it, let's go." And so we ended up in Cairo, Egypt. We applied to different places, but when we went into it, we knew that we would possibly go into moving overseas with just one income, because he's not a teacher. He came from HR payroll, so his background is not education. And so we applied to different places, and Cairo, Egypt was the only place that allowed him to work as a partner teacher. The only thing he had to have was a bachelor's degree. So that was a no-brainer, like, because the other schools were saying that they couldn't offer him a position. And so this is where we ended up. It's definitely been a journey. So we applied to different schools around the world. It wasn't a set place that we were like, oh, yes, we're going to come to Cairo, Egypt. It's just where God put us, because this was, like I said, this was the only school that actually offered him a position. The other schools said that they weren't able to offer him a position because he's not an educator. But God made it so he could be a partner teacher here. So we went into it thinking that we would only have one source of income, and we ended up getting 2 sources of income. And so it's definitely been a journey. This 2nd year has been a breeze, but this time last year, well, after that first month that we were here, I was like, I hate this. I was saying every day, I hate this place. I want to go home. This is stupid. Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, the way of life over here is very, very different. And of course, visiting a place is totally different from living in a place. And so people just see, like, me, I live 10 minutes from the Nile River. I live like 30, 35 minutes from the pyramids. And so people are like, oh, yeah, girl, you did it. I'm like, y'all post these travel pictures by the pyramids, but come on over to my hood where you're going to see this trash. You're going to see these stray cats. You're going to see these dogs. You're going to see all these flies. Come on to my, wait, next time you come here, come on over to my hood. Come on over to my hood. But it has definitely changed me for the better. It has helped molded us. It's helped us create a foundation for our marriage. Like I said, when we thought about going into this journey, we were 3-4 months newlyweds. Um, so we've definitely grown together. The children are very different. The children are very privileged. They have
Yes. So
very, very,
these are Egyptian children, or
yes.
are these American children with like diplomat parents, or like what who
So
are
the
you
school, so the school that I work at, about 90% of the children are local, and so it's not a traditional international school that you would think of like a melting pot of students. So it's not
Okay.
that. There are some American students, but they're 9 times out of 10 like the staff kids. But
Okay.
97% of the students are Egyptian. It costs a pretty penny to go to the school, so it's not free. Um, the children have nannies, the
Mm,
children have maids, like drivers.
drivers. Yeah.
So it's very, very different from coming from the States and working in Title One. They have
Yeah.
issues of neglect, but that's more so because their parents choose to, and not necessarily because they are working or something like that. Like the nannies raise the kids, so that's very, very different. And just adjusting to the way of life here. Like they tell you that they're gonna come and turn the internet on at 3 o'clock, inshallah. That means if it's God's will.
Yeah.
It ain't God's will for you to show up at 7 o'clock talking about you have to install my cable. That ain't God's will, okay? That ain't his will. So
Because
it's
God
very
is always on time.
right. And
He
seven
don't
o'clock
be
that's
late.
late. 7 o'clock that's late. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey. Being away from family and friends and everything that we've known. It's been a breeze for my husband. He's Lord bless him because he deal with me and I'm a lot. But like in hindsight, like looking back, like being away from our family and friends and everything we know, it was difficult in the beginning, but looking back, it's what I needed. I've been able to focus on me and figure out what I want for myself, and not always taking care of other people or worrying about, are we going to get together for this holiday, or are we going to do this, are we going to do that, because that was always me. And so it's forced me to focus on myself and what I want, what my husband and I want. It's definitely helped with my patience. Because being patient as a school counselor versus being patient in the real world when you want to get stuff done and things don't make sense to you, like it's trying. It's trying because them first few months when we didn't have our bank account set up, it took us like 3 months to get our bank account set up. And so I set it off up in that business office. I set it off so bad. My husband was like, anything that got to deal with money, you can't talk to them no more. If they email you, tell me because you can't go in there no more. I set it off. Boosie set it off up in there. I said, I come to work on time. I need my money on. Yeah. He ain't through with me yet. Nah, he ain't through with me yet.
So let me ask you this. Be spiritually bold. You do creative things and expressive arts. Can you tell me how kind of like the arts and expression can be used to kind of become closer to your creator? Because I mean, creativity is something that I think that we get from him. We're creative because our father is an artist and an architect and a creator.
Right. So with the arts, sometimes trying to express yourself with words verbally, sometimes you're not able to put your thoughts into words. I know, like even here, I've stumbled a couple of times, but excuse me, sometimes when you have a art medium presented to you, whether that be free write, tell me what, like draw on this hand what, can't see, draw on this hand what you need to let go of, and then draw on this hand what you need to hold on to. And you writing that out versus verbally saying that, the science behind actually being able to write it and illustrate it allows you to kind of be still and not really think so much of what you're doing. And so it allows you to open up and kind of release and not be so tense. And so in using the creative arts, I use it with my students as well. Of course, students developmentally, they're not always able to have a full-blown conversation, but somehow when you bring out crayons, markers, drawing, things like that, they're able to just not even think about me being there and just focus on the drawing. And I'm able to see a lot of things when they draw pictures. So if I say something like draw a picture of, for my kids, draw a picture of your family, they might draw mom and them and the dog on this side, but then they might draw dad over here. And so them telling me that dad is not in the picture, that's not going to verbally come out easily
Right.
versus them drawing a picture and I'm able to see what they draw and then ask them questions about it, which would then help them to kind of tell me what's going on. And so with the creative arts, with the drawings, with the writings, you're able to not really think about saying the right thing or am I saying the right thing or not, but you're able to allow yourself to just be and take yourself to that creative space to just get it all out. And so I know that it's powerful with my students. And so even though, we grown and we're in the hustle and bustle of life, like creative arts can help us slow down as well. And for a long time, I was trying to figure out how can I combine my job as a counselor with be spiritually bold, but not providing like therapy because I'm way across the world for one. I'm
Right.
6,000 something miles away, so not providing therapy, but I still wanted to be able to help women. But of course, there's a bunch of businesses that people call themselves life coach and this coach, and I'm like, how can I? What can be my niche? How can I be different? And so I thought and I prayed and I asked God to help me. And earlier this year, he helped me and told me to just do it. And so last month, I started the Try It Tuesday segments. And so it's just a 5 to 6 minute Instagram TV video that I just focus on a particular topic, whatever comes to my head that week, and just allow them to write down, like do a particular activity, and then I give them a Bible verse to kind of reflect on. And so some people, they ain't opened the Bible since the 99 and 2000. Some people
Back
have
with Cash Money now.
right. They ain't, and when people they get through them dire times, and oh Lord, if you just help me get out this, I done said it. But no, it's a quick activity they can do 5 to 10 minutes and then giving them a Bible verse. So if they ain't seen the Bible verse since the 99 and 2000, they can see a few words and it can resonate with them, whatever they're going through. And then they can kind of see how, okay, well, this does have something to do with my life. And the Bible isn't as scary as people, make it out to be.
Yeah.
So.
I want to put your contact information up on the screen really quick. I'm going to take us down for a minute just so that it shows up big. I guess, topics really quickly that I wanted to speak with you about. Let me get rid of this because I wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about this theme of being bold.
Okay.
So I know that this is a scripture that I found actually on your site. I don't know. Does it look better like this or like this? I don't know. What do you think? Does that one look better?
I don't know. All this just fancy.
Girl, I just leave it like that. I'm trying, we glow over here. So on your website, you have Ephesians 3:12, which basically says, "In Him and through faith in Him, we may approach God with freedom and confidence." And so, why is it? Why do you think that sometimes we are timid to approach God, or we feel like, oh, I've done this or I've done that. I'm guilty. I'm stained. I can't even approach the throne. Let me just wait till I get it together a little bit. I'm embarrassed. I'm ashamed. Like I can't even go over there. What what advice would you give to people who are kind of like hesitating on approaching God for help or for assistance, for advice, or just for comfort, clarity, or any other thing that we need?
Well, I would just answer it from my perspective because that's how I feel. I think just even for myself, like I said, he ain't through with me yet, but I, thank him. I ain't whatever. I think that we just as humans, we're so hard on ourselves, and we think that if we don't do things a certain way, especially like God is our higher power, God is our Father, and God sees us a particular way. And so we feel that if we're not living the way that He wants us to live, or to live in the way that the Bible says that we should live, then He's gonna punish us because we're not doing everything right. And I don't know what scriptures say, but in the Bible, like He loves us as we are. Like He already knows what mistakes we're gonna make. He already knows when we're gonna fall on our face, how we're gonna fall on our face, how long we're gonna be away from Him, when we're gonna come back to Him, all of that stuff. And so I think that people are just so hard on themselves, but then also people are afraid of being judged by others, and being afraid of what others are gonna think. So what is my friend gonna think if I stop going to Magic City because I want to go to Bible study, or what is everybody else gonna think? And people don't realize that yeah, your friends and family matter, but when it's your time to go, your friends and family ain't gonna be opening the door to let you into the pearly gates, because
Right.
it's gonna be the Lord. And so I think we're just hard on ourselves, and then also we worried a lot about what others think about what's going on in our lives, rather than like who really matters, which is God, who is who really matters to us. And so if we can get past like just our own doubt and our own fears about whatever's going on in our lives, or just not allowing people to let us go astray, or not allowing people to deter us from what we want to do, whether that be you want to move to a new city, you want to move to a new country, you want to start this business or whatever, but you have all these naysayers telling you like, well, why are you doing this, or who she thinks she is, or why she thinks she, but all this stuff or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but not realizing that these ideas and these goals and these things are the plan that God has for your life, and the plan that He has for my life is different from the plan that He has for your life. And you don't have to understand the plan that He has for my life because it ain't your life to live.
Right. All right. This one more Bible verse having to do with boldness. Hebrews 4:16. Let us therefore come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. And see, this is the thing, because I can't tell y'all all my business. But she ain't always been glowing. Like she been in some dark crevices and corners at times, doing all kinds of stuff she had no business doing, right? So I, you know, I think I took longer than necessary to get my mind right and say, okay, I got to stop. Let me go. Let me go home. I've been out here like the prodigal daughter with these pigs in the mud too long. Let me go on home, right? But then you get there and like it totally is like a welcoming experience. Like when I came home to God, I didn't feel like punished or
Or
like
condemned.
disgraced or condemned. It was just kind of like, I've been waiting. We've been here.
Right,
The party been jumping. You could have been here
right,
this whole time with us, but you was over there doing whatever. But welcome home. That's how I felt. And so, you know, I feel like we should kind of know more and have the confidence to go boldly and just, even if you have to go boldly and say, I'm sorry, I messed up. It was me.
right,
I know, but I'm home now. I'm trying to get it together. Knock, knock. Can I come in? And I
right,
feel like people, and I think what you said was really important. I feel like more so than being afraid of judgment from God, I think people are more afraid of judgment and condemnation from other people. I
Yep.
think more so than, we're embarrassed in front of God. I think we're embarrassed in front of other people because they were there with me. They know what I did. They saw it, or they got. I'm so glad I'm old, and Instagram and the videos was not a thing, child. If there was ever a reason to be glad to have been born in the 70s, there is no a Snapchat or Instagram video of me and my waywardness. So I am so grateful. But some of these
And
kids got evidence out here.
I think another thing is people think that just because you love the Lord and I put these scriptures here and there and I say things, but like I'm not holier than thou. Like I'm from Atlanta. I'm ratchet. I like ratchet music.
We know
Like
you a thug, girl.
I'm a thug. Cash money taking over for the 992,000. I'm finna mess it up. Okay, finna mess it up. But that like loving God, having a relationship with God, that doesn't take away from who I am as a person. I ain't finna be out here selling no dough, moving no dough, whatever like that. But like, I ain't got to listen to Kirk Franklin and Mary all the time because I'm gonna listen to Megan Thee Stallion and Future. I'm gonna listen to all that. Okay, so I think that
Hello.
people think that just because you have a relationship with God, or you go to church, or you're spiritual, things like that, like you're holier than now. Like, oh, she's such a goody goody and things like that. Like, no, I'm a baddie too. Like you
Hello.
said, I'm a
But you a
baddie.
believer and a baddie.
I surely am. I surely am. And I ain't finna
Amen.
wear my dress down to my ankles either. None of
Hello.
it. Like I think that's another piece of it too. Like some people are like, why you got to act like that? But like that deters people from church as well too. Like why it don't take all that? Why she got to do all that and that? Because you don't know her story. You don't know her story. You don't
All right.
know what it's. You don't know that she was out here shake dancing and picking up the dollars and stuff and dropping it. You don't know. You don't know.
Right. And so what the Holy Spirit is communicating to another woman that she needs to do might not be what he's communicating to you or to me that I need to do. I just think, the important thing is to have that connection with the Holy Spirit and to know, okay, I'm getting the vibes that ain't what I'm supposed to put on. That's not
Right.
appropriate for me. It
Right.
ain't my job. And this is what, I think it's important that a revelation that came to me. It's not my job to convict other people. That is the Holy Spirit's job. And he
Right.
know how to do his job.
Right.
I don't know how to do his job. Let him do his
Right.
job. I can give you information. If you come to me, I can offer you my perspective, but it's not my job to convict and condemn people. That is the Holy Spirit's job. So let him do his work with who he needs to do it with, and let us just let our light shine
Right.
and let what will be will be. And so I feel like a lot of that condemnation stuff is coming from, sometimes if we ain't cracked open the Bible since the 99s and 2000s, you get in there and you start feeling so like, oh my God, this is, you start feeling so powerful and just the
Right.
power of the word that you can sometimes become a bit much for people. Like
Right.
you're like you have like newfound, like, zeal and zealousness for the word. And you can be like, oh, you ain't supposed to be doing that. And you need to be doing it. It's like, calm down. Calm down. I know you ain't been here since
Right.
the 99 and 2000s. It's okay. You super excited, but just
Right.
take it down like 2 notches. So yeah, that's all I have for that. I don't know. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Anything that you want to promote? You want to talk about any services that you're offering or anything coming up that you want people to know?
So, real quick tidbit, one of the things that I have been praying, I guess the past month or two to God, is that in 2020, I wanted to be in somebody's room sharing my gift. And so, you, if anybody has any events that they would like to have me at virtually or in person, beginning at the end of June,
Is
hint,
that when you're
hint.
coming back? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I do want to be in the room, whether that be on a panelist. Like I will be in somebody's room by the end of 2020, whether that be as a panelist, as someone doing a presentation, someone leading the activity, and then also in the new year, after maybe February, March, I'm gonna be opening up for a personal coaching call. So maybe like a one or two if you want to talk about a certain issue, and then I'm going to give you some homework, at a creative art homework
Mm-hmm.
assignment to help you kind of dig deeper. God actually answered one of the prayers that I had. Well, I guess it wasn't even a full prayer that I had prayed to Him, but a few weeks ago, I had a young lady reach out and ask, "Was I a spiritual counselor?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's what my bio say. Like, yeah, I'm a spiritual counselor." And so she wanted to speak with me about some things that she had been dealing with in her life. And so we've spoken 2 times, and she's had so much revelation. And it's just me listening to her and doing what a counselor is doing. But the questions that I've been able to ask her, the
Mm-hmm.
homework that I've been able to give her, it's been giving her like reassurance and just helping her build her confidence in things that she feels that God has called her to do in her life, whether they be personally or professionally. And so that her prayer, her answered prayer was actually one of my answered prayers because it gave me a boost in confidence that like, yeah, I can do this. You know, you just sometimes you're just afraid of putting yourself out there. Like I know I'm
Right.
certified, I got the degrees, I know all the school and stuff, but like, you know, I guess I was afraid to put myself out there as a
Yeah.
spiritual counselor because he ain't through with me yet, but I can still help women through their issues with using the creative arts. And so if you have any upcoming events, if you have some issues that you want to work through, and you don't feel like you want to sit on the couch for 6 weeks, you don't have to do that. You can reach out to me and I'll help you, girl.
All right.
And
And
I
you
and I
go
really,
ahead.
really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Oh, I
Um,
appreciate you coming and being a part, because I feel you. I have my same issues, like to be able to like call myself a coach. I'm like, okay, I know I took the class, I did the certification, and in my actual profession as an attorney, I've kind of been coaching people for the past 12 years through like some of the worst times of their life.
right.
But I still felt kind of like, I don't know, can I
Who
say
gonna
that? Yeah, like
who gonna shuck these coins to me, girl, so I can get my nails and stuff? But like to me, it's not even like I think once I got outside, like her reaching out to me, and I asked her, I said, "Girl, how'd you find my page?" Like, I don't know, we don't got no mutual friends. And so she said that she felt God tell her that she needed to speak to like get some advice or like seek
wow.
counsel. And so she randomly typed in on Instagram spiritual counselor. She said she saw some other pages. She was like, "Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it." And she saw my page. She scrolled, and then she sent me a message. And then yeah,
Wow.
and she's actually gonna be releasing her website on January 1st. So
Oh, good for
thank
her.
you so much. And I'm just like, girl, like I'm just being myself. But you welcome, girl. Like, but like to me, it's so easy. But like I just, I have to get outside of my head.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
be bold, Mi'Esha. And my husband is like, how you gonna be telling all these women to be bold and you don't even. I'm like, you can get out, okay? But like I get upset because like he's telling the truth, but like something
Hmm.
it just it's scary.
Well, before you go, I need you to give me what they call in the radio industry a drop.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Mi'Esha, hailing from Atlanta via Cairo, Egypt. I'm over here in the motherland, and I just spent some time with my girl Nicci Page from the Glow Code. Um, so yes, a lovely spirit, my soror. Ooh, one time for the 1913. Y'all know what we do. Be spiritually bold on all social media outlets at Be Spiritually Bold. Send me a message, send me an email, check out my feed, and be blessed. Be bold.
Absolutely. And keep glowing. You all, thank you. For those of you who might be watching this later, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, or who might be listening to the podcast at different platforms, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the message today. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation with Miss Mi'Esha Reynolds. I want y'all to go follow her at Be Spiritually Bold. Go to her website, www.bespirituallybold.com, and check out her services. And yeah, be bold, boldly approach the throne. You can go home. We know you done some stuff. We done some stuff too. And we was allowed back in, and so will you. So y'all be bold. And follow the Glow Code also on Instagram at _ the Glow Code. Facebook, it's at the Glow Code. On YouTube, it's the Glow Code. And feel free to email me or DM me if you guys have any questions or any topics that you would like me to talk about, or any guests that you would like me to reach out to see if they would like to come on, or if you want to be a guest, if you have something that you want to promote, if you consider yourself to be an around the way girl who is unashamed of the gospel, a fly girl walking by faith, or a believer and a baddie, and you want to come on the show, just DM me at _ the Glow Code, or send me an email at glowinfo@niccipage.com, and we'll get that together. So I'm going to put Mi'Esha's information up on the screen one more time because I want y'all to go follow her. I'm going to make it big. I'm going to take us down. Wave to the people and say goodbye, because we have come to the end. Y'all keep glowing. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.